Behind the Mirror of Music with Danny Cohen.
Hello, and welcome to Behind the Mirror of Music. My name is Danny Cohen. This week's guest is Maria Kesselman. Maria Kesselman was the original Christine Daaé understudy, later on to become alternate in The Phantom of the Opera. She was also the first Hannibal Princess. As part of the original production from the start, she witnessed the creation of the show, including lyrics and music changes, Hal Prince's original direction, and saw Michael Crawford, Sarah Brightman, and Steve Barton create their iconic roles. An accomplished artist in her own right, Maria Kesselman is a much sought-after concert soprano, well-versed in classical music as well as musical theatre. She's also well-versed in dance. She has performed in many opera and musical productions, including La Boheme, Cosi van Tute, The Sound of Music, My Fair Lady, Witch, and Barnum. I hope you will enjoy the show.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, at last.
It's been such a long time.
I know. Yeah, no, I'm good. I've been trying to get music to various singers because I'm going on tour. So, and I seem to be left in charge of giving everybody the music. Yeah, it's all good.
I've been on a lot of tours lately and concert series.
Yeah, so I'm doing, well, it always happens at once, doesn't it? Everything always happens at once. So I've got my show, and which is sort of intermittent, doing various theatres and things, and I'm doing a theatre tour of a magical Mozart by candlelight, which is all staged with all the costumes and everything and a little orchestra, and the other one is a Viennese Strauss Gala, so lots of waltzing around the stage, you know.
Music.
Beautiful music. That's why I love it. I love the music. Yeah, really, really lovely.
What are you doing right now in your life and career?
Oh, my life and career. Right. So my general life is well, there's never enough hours in a day, really. So I've got 2 dogs who take up a lot of my time, and walking them because they need at least an hour and a half. There you are. She's talking now. At least an hour and a half around the forest every day. I'm lucky because I live right near Swinley Forest and Windsor Great Park, which is really good. Yeah, so that's the sort of priority. I also coach and coach people for auditions and music colleges and teach singing and all that stuff. And then I try to combine it with my performing career. So I've got 3 projects on the go: Viennese Strauss Gala, Mozart by candlelight, magical Mozart by candlelight, and my show, which is called With a Song in My Heart, and it's all cabaret stuff, all about my life and, you know, anecdotes in between the songs and things like that.
Sounds like such a full schedule, but such wonderful projects and music.
Yes, wonderful. I mean, the thing is, I don't think we ever have enough hours in the day, or we need Groundhog Day. That's what we need, because I do paintings as well and things. Yeah, lots of painting, but I don't get much time to do it. So I love to do oil paintings and things. And I'm lucky if I get to do one of those a year. So, you know.
Stay with me is always there's stuff you got to do every day, and then you got to have to fill your projects into that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And just every day is, I mean, just sort of living is quite time consuming, isn't it? We're the shopping and the washing up and the, you know, all the day-to-day things do take up a lot of time, and then you've got to fit everything else in on top of that. So yeah, so I'm we're just putting this Viennese Strauss Gala together at the moment, and I've because I've got quite a big rehearsal space. My living room is quite big, so we're getting them all. The little orchestra will be rehearsing in my living room with the with the cast. So that'd be fun.
How did you fall in love with art and music and theater?
Yeah, well, my mother was a wonderful pianist, so you know, I loved music from the start, really. There was always music in the house. And Mum used to play for me to sing, and she always used to insist on giving everybody a concert when they came round, and and she demanded full attention. She didn't like it if anyone was speaking during the when we were playing. Yeah, she really encouraged me. And I was a dancer first, so I went to stage school. I went to the Arts Educational Stage School. I still dance. I still do Argentinian tango and other things. But yes, I was ballet dancer for a while, and then I went to art college, and then I went to the Royal College of Music. So it was all, you know, all over the place. But and then I from the Royal College, I just finished my performance degree at college, and Andrew Lloyd Webber was looking for Christine. Well, firstly to understudy Sarah, and then, you know, I ended up doing 2 a week, but of Christine. But yeah, it was just luck that so that was my first job, and then it, instead of opera, it set me on the sort of musical theatre route. So I then did lots of other shows and things.
Such an amazing start immediately in such a legendary musical.
I know, yeah. It just shows you, though, doesn't it? What it's just sometimes being in the right place at the right time. And I think at that age as well, you don't quite see the sort of you know, how big it is. It's sort of, you know, you just think, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, and actually because I started off understudying her, I we didn't have any rehearsal. So the first time I went on, I actually hadn't had any rehearsal on the stage or anything. So that was fun. Everybody was sort of, all the cast were helping me just show me where to go. Yeah.
With a role like Christine, it must have been such a nerve-wracking night because she's in every scene almost.
Every scene. I know. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. But somehow it worked. And all the orchestra were lovely at the end. They all stood up at the end, and because they knew I hadn't had any rehearsal. I had to, the night before, Andrew Lloyd Webber said, sit at the back of the stalls and just write down all the moves in a notebook. So that's what I had to do. Crazy.
What was it like to be part of the show from the beginning? How did you all start working on it? Because you're also the princess in Hannibal.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and yeah, we had, you know, it was a good fun company. We all got on really well. Yeah, so yes, I was doing that at the same time as you know, having to go on a very short notice sometimes. Yeah, it was interesting being part of it and seeing how Harold Prince blocked all the moves, and you know, from the beginning. Yeah, it was we didn't know how successful it was going to be. I mean, there were so many problems with it to begin with. We thought it was going to be a complete disaster because just things kept, the previews had to be postponed because there were so many technical difficulties with the show. So you know, the remote control boat never worked. Or it, well, do you know this story? The remote control boat shared its radio frequency with the local taxi rank, and so you could hear the taxi drivers over the thing when Michael was singing Music in the Night. There'd be a taxi driver going, "Is it all right if I drop you on the corner, love?" Yeah. So there was that. The chandelier kept crashing in the wrong place. The masquerade steps never went up properly. You name it. It was a catastrophic.
It must have been the most difficult and at times hilarious at the same time.
Oh yeah, hilarious. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always quite good fun when things go wrong, isn't it? Really, yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah. So eventually, but it's such a technical show with all the. I mean, actually, there was one. They had to do at the beginning a music video of the main theme, the Phantom of the Opera theme, and so for a music video they wanted real candles. It was so they put all these real candles all over the stage, which looked fantastic, but then of course we had to do the show in the evening, and the whole stage was like an ice rink because there was all this wax on the stage. So yeah, so all the dancers were slipping over. I mean, it's funny looking back on it. They were furious, like, but it was, yeah, they were slipping over all over the place. They didn't think.
You get to work with Andrew Lloyd Webber for the rehearsals?
Yes, he was there. Most of the rehearsals he was there. With Hal Prince, Gillian Lynn, what's his name? Hart, librettist. What's his name? You know.
Yeah.
and oh yeah, Cameron was there a lot as well. So yeah, they were all there.
Which phantoms did you get to work with? Because you were
yeah, so I with Michael Crawford, and then after that Dave Willett, and my roles were Steve Barton, the original one, and Michael Ball. Yeah, who I saw not last year because we judged a dog show together. we judged the Chiswick dog show together.
What were they like to work with? Do you have any memories of that stand out to you?
Oh gosh, loads really. Oh my goodness. What the only sort of things that went wrong. Things that, like a stage weight hitting people, and yeah, no. Yes. Well, I made the mistake of it was during Music of the Night actually, where at the end she has to go and take his mask off, you know. And I just caught the wig at the back and took his wig off as well. So in the last lair, in the lair scene at the end, Michael, he was furious. He was so angry. He was sort of throwing me about the stage. It should be like that anyway, but it was extra real. You know, one of those things.
Did you get to read the original book before the show?
Yes, I did. It's not a big book. Have you read it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a big book, is it? It's just a little. Yeah, I saw the film as well, the black and white film. Yeah.
Apparently, the original book was bigger because the original translator left out about 100 pages. Apparently.
Oh, really? Oh my God! I didn't realize that. Do they know what it said in those? Have they got those pages?
Yeah, they said after the show became famous, some new translators translated the book again, so to include pages.
Oh, really?
But still, the book that's most available and the cheapest is the original translation with the pages missing.
Oh, really? How funny! How funny! No, I didn't realize that at all. No, but no, but you know, since then, I mean, I do the medley of I have a phantom medley that I do during my show because you know you're always asked to do that sort of thing. Because it's, although I've done lots of other shows, it's funny. Phantom is just one of those, isn't it? It's like being in a well-known soap opera or something. It's sort of, you're kind of remembered for it.
Doctor Who or something.
And Doctor, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kind of like that, because there are always people who have their Phantom, their Christine, just like their people have their doctors.
Yes, that's true, isn't it? Yeah, that's, I never thought of it like that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But yes, did you see the film?
Yes.
Did you, what, it's a bit, what did you like it? I haven't really seen it all the way through, actually.
Well, I liked how it looked, but I didn't like the fact that they chose an actor who couldn't sing that particular style for the role.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely. So I'm just taking a quick picture. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's the thing though. Same with Les Miserables, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think the actor thought when he took on the role that he would be dubbed, and then he suddenly had to do singing lessons to get some semblance of a singing voice for musical.
I know, it doesn't seem right, does it, Danny? It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, because especially with the Phantom, it's Christine keeps talking about he sings like an angel, and well, he doesn't.
I know. I know. What is that all about? Yeah, I don't understand it, but there we are.
Also, I thought it was wrong that the Christine was far too young for the part, because
yes, I agree.
In the book she's in her 20s, so it isn't even that this book accurate or something.
No, I know. It's bizarre, isn't it? I know that there are some funny decisions in films sometimes, I think.
Especially because nowadays a lot of people who only know the movie, not the book or the musicals, think it's about grooming, which it isn't.
Yeah, yes, true. Yeah, it's a very good point, isn't it? Yeah.
Especially at the time when it was made, it was something that wasn't particularly looked on as good as well, because
yeah,
I think it was kind of because I heard Annie Weber had an obsession with the Labyrinth movie, and then he wanted to make it something like that when it was a totally different story.
yes, indeed. Yeah. Yes, I never actually saw the sequel to Phantom, The Love Never Dies. Did you see it?
He has a film version.
Oh, the film. Oh, okay. Because when we did we've been back to do anniversaries. We did the 25th at the Albert Hall and the 30th at Her Majesty's. And I was talking to Andrew about Love Never Dies, because I've only seen bits really, but he said he didn't feel it worked terribly well. I can't remember why he said that now, but yeah. Did you like it?
I liked the music, and I think that the story could have been better if they had older actors instead of people who are younger than the actors who are in the show.
Yeah, there we go again. Yes, I know.
Because there were a lot of former cast members who thought that it would be that few past pairings would have been put in the show to recreate the parts.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I know there are some strange decisions, aren't there, sometimes? And you think, when people have all that expertise, and yet when someone sees the film, they all have the same sort of critique of it, don't they? They say, wish they'd done that, you know.
Yeah, former Phantom Ethan Freeman, they told me that he was at the premiere, and he thought, well, maybe he would be doing this interview. He thought, oh, so they aged backwards.
Yeah. Like Benjamin, what is it? Button, is it Benjamin Button? Yeah. Yeah, it's a good trick. Yes, so yeah, but great memories of it, really. And I'm still in contact with the ones of us that are left. They're all dropping off. But,
it's going fast these days, but also on Broadway, I keep seeing memorials and thinking, oh.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? Because you know, these things, it seems like yesterday, really. That's why just seeing people after all that time, especially with the reunions, you know, it's fascinating seeing people after all that time. Because when we did the 25th and then the 30th, at the 30th, there were lots of people that weren't there. And then, of course, Gillian Lynn passed away as well, didn't she? So,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Hal Prince too,
and Hal, yeah, and Hal, yeah, yeah. I know, yeah. It's very, very odd. It's a funny old thing.
Steve Barton was very young when that happened.
Yeah, Steve Barton was very young. I had just, funnily enough, I did a performance at the Albert Hall with Steve Barton. I think it was about 2 weeks before he died, and we hadn't seen each other since Phantom, and so we were in the dressing room, kind of catching up on stuff, and I don't know, he seemed quite anxious, whereas he wasn't. He was full of confidence, you know, and he couldn't sort of sit still, and he was nervous about doing the performance and things. And then and we swapped numbers because he lived in Germany, and we said we were going to keep contact. And then I got a call from his agent, Jean Diamond, to say that he'd passed away. It was a terrible shock. Yeah.
Must have been because well, when you saw him perform, you wouldn't notice everything that went on in the background.
I know exactly. And there's a you know, I don't quite know what happened. Have you heard what happened?
There was still so many stories.
I know.
That was suicide was known, but the reasons behind it not yet, because
It's not clear. It's not. I mean, how much can I say what I know on here? Yeah. So his fiance contacted me. Her name is Maria, and she contacted me afterwards and said, I know that you were the last one to perform with Steve at the Albert Hall, and she just wanted to know all the details about what happened that evening and all the rest of it. And then we, you know, kept in contact for a while, but apparently she wasn't allowed to go to his funeral. She didn't think it was suicide. She thought it was something to do with his heart, I think. So I'm honestly not quite sure what happened. Then I also heard that yes, what did I hear? That because of, you know, Steve went through a divorce, but I think there was something with his sexuality as well. And he had been in a psychiatric ward or something at some point. It's all little fragments of information, you know. And so I would so love to know what happened, because Steve was such a gentle, you know, lovely man, and he was so talented, and he was a, you know, wonderful pianist. He was an artist as well, and you know, you know, we used to look at each other's you know, drawings and things. And it's just such a tragic loss, isn't it? So tragic.
But he was actually rehearsing Jekyll and Hyde in Germany, so he had future plans.
He had future plans, and I think he'd been doing Manon on Broadway or something. Manon or something. Yeah, I think.
The Red Shoes as well.
And the shoes right there. Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's very sad, isn't it? Very sad. Yeah, I don't know what's happened. I lost contact with his fiance, but yeah, maybe we'll never know, Danny.
A real shame. He was such a talented performer.
Yeah, such a talented, and he was so generous, you know. He was lovely on stage to work with. He was really helpful and warm, you know, really warm. And yeah, Very, very good, especially for me because that was my first job, you know, and he was so caring.
When you performed the role of Christine, how did you see her and her backstory?
Yeah, how I didn't want her to be sort of you know, it's you can easily with a sort of ingenue part like that make it a bit too flimsy, you know, and a bit too sort of prissy in a way. So I wanted her to have a little bit more depth of character than that. Because there's some real guts to her, I think, as well. You know, especially and passion at the end and so on. So yeah, I mean, I can't remember. It's such a long time ago. I can't remember exactly what went through my mind at the time, but I do remember, you know, really feeling a sort of a powerful part with her rather than a flimsy kind of part. So, and I loved playing it. And I loved playing opposite Michael as well because he, you know, well, he sort of did whatever he put his mind to. He was somehow able to do, wasn't he?
What was he like as a person to work with?
Yeah. So well, all the Christines that play Christine, we all had to go to his dressing room before a performance for notes about the previous performance because he because he was a real perfectionist. You know, he's a perfectionist. He that's what I mean. He whatever he puts his mind to, it's like with the Frank Spencer stuff. He did all his own stunts, and Barnum he did all his own stunts, didn't he? So and he was funny, you know, he is funny, but he could be you know, quite strong with people if the need arose. I seem to remember. Um yeah, he yeah, just trying to remember instances, but I mean I got on very well with him. And he was very helpful. You know, he used to say when I was in his dressing room, you've got to give 120%. I've always given 120%, and you know, and it was like drilled into me that. So, and he had all his vitamin tablets lined up along his he had like a fireplace in his dressing room, and he had all his vitamin tablets lined up. But yeah, he really gave, you know, everything to it. So, you know, I think some people may have got the wrong side of him sometimes. Yeah.
When did you get to, what was it like to work with Sarah?
Yeah, so Sarah, well, you know, I don't think any of us ever really knew Sarah by the end of it. She, she was always polite. But she did keep herself to herself quite a lot. I mean, she did ask me into her dressing room one day for some Earl Grey tea. I remember that. And you know, we had the odd chats and so on, but she did keep herself to herself. And in fact, even when we did the 25th, I think it was the Albert Hall one, yeah, anniversary, again, she didn't really, you know, come and sit in the canteen. She was just the same thing. So I never really got to know her properly. It's strange. Yeah. Whereas Michael was a bit more, you know, he was sort of more part of the company kind of thing. I don't know why it was. I don't know whether it was shyness or what. I don't know.
I think maybe because of, well, she was a bit, a lot in the media at the time. So maybe she was afraid of people talking about.
Yeah, it could be that a bit guarded. I think that could well have been the case, actually. Yeah, I'm sure. We before Phantom, well, just when it had opened. I can't remember. We went to Sidmonton, you know, Andrew's place.
Yeah.
For a cricket match, and we all swam in the pool. It was the most brilliant day. It was just great. It was a glorious summer's day. And Sarah did then show us around the house, and she showed me her bedroom with all the all her clothes, and yeah, I do remember that. And yeah, it was a fabulous day. That the whole company went, because he's got that little theatre in the chapel in the garden.
Did some scenes and music change a lot during rehearsals?
Yes. I tell you what changed the most, which was unbelievable, the amount of changes, was Masquerade. As if it wasn't hard enough to learn the blooming words to start with. They kept changing it. Also, they did have a change of lyricist. You know, it was Richard Stilgoe firstly, and he got the sack because Think of Me, his words his words for Think of Me, the first bit, he put elephants never forget, because he must have been thinking of Hannibal, but instead of think of me fondly, it was elephants never forget. I don't think Andrew liked that, and I think it all went downhill from there, so he had to be replaced. And then I suppose, you know, I don't know what happened, but there were rewrites and rewrites and rewrites, and we were continually learning new words for Masquerade. We were so muddled by the end of it. Yeah, but yeah, lots of rewrites. Yeah,
I still saw a recording of Sarah singing a completely different lyric to "Wishing You Were Somewhere Here Again" at some point too.
yes, that's right. Yeah, and because the first single that she recorded was with Steve Harley for the main duet, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I think that was different, wasn't it? Can't remember now, but
lots of different lyrics in there too.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, because Steve Harley was originally going to do it. So yeah, there were lots and lots of changes and changes of mind, and yeah, all sorts.
Even to this day, things keep changing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think Think of Me is now in a higher key. I think it's a tone higher.
Yes, and more lyric changes to it as well.
More lyric changes, yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I just stick with the original because I can't be bothered to learn I can't be bothered to learn any different ones. So yeah,
it was the first one I knew as well, and I can't change it either when I sing it in my head or something, because
yeah.
I listening to the cast album over and over again as a child. So when I went to the show, I thought I knew everything. I could just mouth along the words.
Oh, how funny. How funny. And then it was all different. Yeah, I actually have the original. Let's see if I can find it actually. Hang on a sec. My dogs are going to bark now. Sorry. Go in there. Go in there. Sorry. Right. I think in my music stuff. Where is it actually? I did. Oh, there it is. Okay. There we go.
Oh my goodness.
That's the original we were given at rehearsals. So that's got all my Christine markings in, and yeah, you'll see that. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, yeah. Yes, it's a rare piece of archive. Yes, I wonder if everybody else has still got theirs. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure there are lots of changes. I mean, it's all sort of just typed with a typewriter. Yeah, I've got all the stage moves written in and everything. But, yeah. Long time ago, isn't it?
But I just think that someone had to keep rewriting those pages again and again.
I know, exactly. Yeah, I'd be on the tube with this, learning it on the tube back from Alford House, where we rehearsed in Vauxhall. Yeah, and then I think we recorded it at Abbey Road. I think I know we did some at Abbey Road and some at Angel Studios in Islington. I think. Yeah.
I think some albums are still recorded there.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I've set up a little recording studio here because I've been meaning to do it for so long, and I'm having to learn all the technical things of using Logic Pro, and it's all good fun.
It must be lovely to be able to record your own things.
Yeah, it's so creative because normally you'd have to buy studio time, and it's very limiting, isn't it? But now I'm able to just play about with stuff and layer things up and double track things, and I'm recording pupils as well, which is brilliant. Still got a lot of learning to do on that, but it's a start.
What are some of your other favorite roles over the years?
So I loved doing Maria in The Sound of Music. Actually, I loved that. That was it was a very different sort of production, and it was a beautiful set with all Gustav Klimt's like paintings all around, all gold, and the stage was mirrored, and I had to wear a sort of flesh body stocking as if she was naked bathing by a pool in the Alps when the curtain went up. So it was very different. It was a very different production, but I'm still in touch with a lot of the kids. Yeah, My Fair Lady obviously is a fantastic part. I did Jenny Lind in Barnum for a little bit, which was quite good fun. West Side Story, obviously, I love the music of West Side Story. It doesn't date, does it? It's wonderful. I recorded that as well.
Do you still want to return to musical theatre? Do you have a dream role you'd still like to do?
Oh gosh, it's tricky now. I don't know, because I like the older style musicals. I don't think I would fit in with the really modern ones like Waitress or Dear Evan Hansen or any of that sort of thing. So it's got to be, the parts are few and far between, aren't they? For especially my age group now, it's tricky. So there are parts there, but yeah, I don't have a particular dream role. Just something that would be really satisfying. Something with good script is so important, isn't it? And yeah, something to get my teeth into would be good.
Do you have a favorite stage memory?
As a favorite stage memory, there's so many, Danny. I don't know.
Memories.
Pardon?
Stage memories.
Yeah, stage memories. Again, oh my gosh, I suppose the thing is, I've always loved singing with big orchestras, so I think the sort of thrilling stuff has been doing those things at the Albert Hall or at the Barbican. I used to do some stuff there, and there's just something about a big orchestra. So yeah, those sort of things stick in my mind. Funnily enough, I've recently done, just for myself, because all the photos tend to stay on computers, don't they, that we take? And I have all these photos of being in shows and all sorts of things, and I put together a massive great book with all the pictures in of all the productions and all that, which makes you think, oh yeah, look at, it makes you remember them more, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think with companies, I usually remember well, funnily enough, this was actually a flop, this one, but I played with Graham Bickley, who was in a show called Bread a long time on television. We're still in contact, but we did a show called Witch, which was a Norwegian show. I loved the music of it, but anyway, it didn't last very long. But there was a scene, it was at the Piccadilly Theatre, and there was a love scene that we had to do. And we were on a bed that sort of doubled as a boat, and at the end of the thing, it descended into the ground through a trapdoor. And something went wrong. I had a nightdress on, and he pulled it, and it sort of came, it pulled it down, and it just made me laugh. See, I was in, it's a quiet love song, a full theatre, and I was just in hysterics, so much so that I couldn't actually sing any of the duet, any of it. I was just shaking. I was just, shaking with laughter, and he had to try and sing all the duet by himself. And we descended into the floor, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to get the sack. I'm going to get the sack. I didn't. No, there must have not been in. The management must not have been in. But it was shocking behavior. I'm a terrible giggler. That's my problem.
People in Phantom Media asked me that if ever I spoke to an original Christine, I had to ask this. The original Think of Me, was it performed on point?
Okay, I have something to say on this. It was only me and Sarah that performed it on point.
Okay.
Ever, I think. I'm not sure. I may be wrong, but certainly in London.
I think because that's what people never knew if it was or wasn't, because
yeah, it was originally, but of course they had with me, because I was a dancer, it was no problem, and Sarah was a dancer, so it was no problem. But that's a hell of a thing to recast. I mean, it's just not going to happen, is it? It's unusual, because point work, it's all very well to be able to dance a few steps, but doing it on point you've got to be a dancer to do it, So yes, in the answer to their question, it was originally on point with me and Sarah doing it on point.
Was it difficult to switch between singing and doing the ballet scenes?
No, not really. No, I didn't find it difficult. No, I loved it. I loved the fact that because normally parts in musicals, it's either you have a dancer part or you have a singer part, and I've always wanted to use both, and it's really rare that you're able to use both. So I've never really, apart from Phantom, don't think I've ever completely used both in a satisfying way. But yeah, no, I loved it. I loved that fact. Yeah, because at the beginning there was a lot more dancing in Masquerade for Christine as well, a lot more. We had lifts and things. Steve, a bit like Dirty Dancing, Steve used to have to lift us into a big lift, and I can't remember all the choreography, but there was more.
I think because it might have worked better in the beginning because he was a dancer as well.
Yeah. I don't know if there are the Rowells dancers now. I don't know.
Not really, I think. It's
No, it's because Steve was a fabulous ballet dancer. Mind you, Michael wasn't, was he?
I had learned dancing from I think during Hello Dolly from Gene Kelly.
Oh, really?
He did some dancing scenes in that film.
No, absolutely. Michael did, yes. No, Michael, well, again, Michael could do anything really. But,
he wanted to dance.
What?
He wanted to dance and he did it.
Yeah. Whatever he put his mind to, Michael would do.
I could see it in the Barnum movie because what he did back to back to back was extraordinary then.
Extraordinary.
Is there anything in this interview that hasn't been asked that you would like to have included?
Any questions, did you say? Oh gosh. Oh my God. Now you've put me on the spot, Danny. What questions? What questions? I don't. Well. Shall I tell you how I came to audition for Phantom in the first place?
Yes, please.
I'd literally just left. No, I just finished my performers course at the Royal College, and I just graduated. And my mother, who was my biggest fan and a pianist, said, she said, "Why don't you get an agent?" And I said, "Oh, don't be ridiculous. I've just left college. Don't be ridiculous. I won't be able to get an agent." And she said, "No, write to this agent." And it just happened to be the most famous classical agent in London, which was Ibsen Tillett at the time. And I said, "Oh, all right then." So I sent off this. I sent a tape, I think, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the next day I got a call from that agent saying that Andrew Lloyd Webber was looking for a Christine. And somebody that was an opera singer that was also a ballet dancer. And so it was, you see what, that sort of split second timing, isn't it? And then I went along to the New London Theatre where Cats was, and I auditioned in front of Andrew Lloyd Webber. And he came down onto the stage and he said, that was fantastic. He said, "We're going to send a script round to you on a courier, by courier this afternoon. And then we want you to come back," and so on. Then I did several other auditions, but it was that sort of quick and strange timing, isn't it?
Yes. Something that had to be.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, good memories.
You've also performed several operas. What were your favorite opera roles?
Yes, I love I mean I do love Mozart, but I love Puccini as well. And I played Musetta in La Boheme, and we toured that all over the place, as well as London. But it was yes, I love the music because it's big soaring melodies, I love lots of opera, really. I did Mozart's Cosi fan tutte, which was lovely. And I've always done lots of opera concerts, so the best bits of everything as well. But it's very satisfying opera. It's probably more satisfying than anything to sing. But then I wouldn't want to not do the other stuff and not do cabaret, because cabaret you can really pour your heart into things, and the lyrics are really important, and
Yes, I miss when musical used to have more classical voices, because that was the kind of thing that drew me towards it.
To say that again, so
And I miss when musical theatre had more
I agree. I totally agree. So that's exactly. Me too. When it was really proper singing, proper singing.
Yes, because I heard that the new musical students aren't trained as well as they used to be. That's why they suffer so many vocal issues as well these days.
They can do. If they're not supporting the voice properly. And it's because you've got to maintain relaxation up here. You've got to let the diaphragm, the support, do all the work. Otherwise you can end up in trouble. And a lot of the very belty stuff, I mean, if I have to belt, which I tend not to do it. I don't like doing it because it hurts. It's not good for my voice particularly. So, but you have to sort of push up from underneath, and that does put a lot of strain on the vocal cords. But there are rock singers that have been doing rock singing for a long time, and they seem to get away with it. So,
I heard some rock singers took opera classes to get their vocals in shape.
Yes. yeah, that would be funny. Yeah, I mean, it's I think whatever style of singing you do, it doesn't matter what style it is, it's got to be supported by the diaphragm, and if it isn't, you're going to get into problems. don't know, just every role has been special, really. You know, every role has had its laughs. um, I think I loved my favorite role really is Eliza in My Fair Lady, just because because it's from Pygmalion and that's a George Bernard Shaw, you know, script. It's a great script. It's such a, which translates into a musical. And sometimes musical scripts can be a bit flimsy. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But that script is, you can really get your teeth into it. There are so many layers to her character. So yeah, and I did that with Tony Anholt, who was in the lead in Howard's Way on the television. It's going back long way before you. And Reg Marsh, who was in a comedy program called The Good Life, right? They still show, and they were great to work with, you know. Yeah, that's got to be my favorite, and Christine, because that was my first job as well. But yeah, that's my other favorite role.
I saw this big debate about My Fair Lady online recently, about whether or not she truly returns to Henry Higgins at the end, or that she leaves again.
Yeah, so it's left very much to the imagination, isn't it, at the end of that? I've always thought this. I've always liked to think. I think I've liked to think that she stays with him. Haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
He hasn't changed because he says that line about the slippers, but I thought he was more saying it as a joke to her, and not because.
Yes, it was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. Now, the trouble nowadays is that people don't know how to take a joke.
Because I heard the last production that they completely changed the ending.
Did they? Did they? What did they do, Danny?
But no, he said the slippers line, and then she leaves again, which is a strange ending.
Really? Why does she leave?
Because nowadays they think Higgins was abusive.
Yeah, but you see, this is where I get on my soapbox, Danny. I think it was tongue in cheek that.
Yes.
Oh, it was. It was. It's meant to be sort of funny, and you know, and also it was a different time. But yeah, that's just meant as a sort of funny, cheeky comment.
I think they also miss out miss the whole point of the run accustomed to her face, and where you see him work through every issue he has, learning.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
in love with her, and that his behavior was mostly jealousy. When
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a complex character, actually, isn't he? He's, you know, he's sort of trying not to show what he really feels a lot of the time, and yeah. But no, I've always thought that she would stay with him, and that was it. They were in love with each other.
yes, I think people need so much more information in shows these days.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Because I heard someone say, "Well, I can't relate to the Phantom because he doesn't take much time to explain himself." I think, what does it need to explain that you can't see with his face?
Exactly. It's self-evident.
He needs a song to tell his story, but he tells his story.
He does tell his story. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's self. I don't know what more information they'd need, really. I mean, otherwise the show would be about 6 hours long, wouldn't it? Be like Ken Dodge, you'd never get it off.
But these days, I think for example, Henry Higgins to stand up. Eliza, I need to apologize to the host.
Yeah, I know. Don't get me started. Ridiculous. Well, yes, all gone too far. It's gone too far.
I thought at the end she could feel he had changed because of the way he said it.
Absolutely. He's changed, and the song "I've Grown Accustomed to Her Face" says it all. What a glorious song that is. You know, he suddenly realizes what his feelings are.
I think he never knew those feelings before, but because he has always been a bachelor, he never knew how to feel these things.
No, he's always just had a stiff upper lip, you know, strong exterior, never let a woman into his life for whatever reason.
I think after the Without You part, when Eliza says Without You, and he suddenly realizes what he's feeling and that it might leave him.
Yes, a good point. Yeah, yes, exactly. Thing is, it, you know, as when you fall in love with somebody, it leaves you vulnerable, doesn't it? So I think he probably didn't, you know, was sort of fairly determined to be an eternal bachelor and never leave himself vulnerable, and then, you know, caught him by surprise.
So I don't think people seem to understand it anymore. At least some people. It's really odd.
No, there's a strange mentality going on, Danny. It's odd, and it seems to, I don't know. It's a strange way of looking at things. Yeah, maybe you can look too deep into things.
But that's the point of Phantom of Eric too. But that's the reason why he was there in the first place and what had happened to him.
Yes, exactly. Of course. Yeah.
Have to just look at part of the story these days. It's so strange.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting people's different takes on it, isn't it? Yeah.
Have half a psychology class, but don't understand. Well, with Henry Higgins, they don't understand character development, and with Eric, they don't understand trauma.
Yeah. Yes. I know exactly. Yeah, my goodness. At the end of the day, there's some lovely music. So do you have any other favorite? What other favorite musicals do you have?
Next, Man of La Mancha.
Oh, love that. I do that song in my show.
Yeah,
I love.
The Impossible Dream or the
No, I do Man of La Mancha. Hear me now. Da, 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 dee, da, da. Fabulous song. Fabulous.
and that's the musical. It was on Broadway and in the Netherlands, but it sadly never reached West End. It was a Cyrano musical. It's really beautiful music, but sadly, not many people have heard it.
No, that's true, isn't it? There's so many of these musicals that are sort of slightly lost now, and really stunning musicals, you know. It is a shame, actually. I think they ought to start bringing more of them back, regardless of thinking if it's going to sell hundreds and hundreds of tickets. But it's tricky.
It was a good thing at J Records. I don't know if you heard of them.
No.
They recorded lost and classic musicals so that people could hear them again. It was a really great project.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, very good. That's a lovely thing to do, because I think that's the thing. If people start growing up listening to this music that isn't played so much anymore, it would become popular again.
Yes, I always noticed that a lot of people, young people, when they actually get to hear something or see something or read something, they love it.
Yes, exactly. It's just exposing them to it, isn't it? Really, you know.
I think media itself always trains parents to think that children don't want to listen to it, but it's actually the opposite. They see children in love with silent movies and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And Laurel and Hardy, and yeah, exactly. If they're given it to watch, then that's it, isn't it? It's just that they're not exposed to it, you know.
Other musicals like is Aspects of Love and some shows by Maria Kesselman. He also has
Oh, love Maury Yeston. I love it. I recorded Unusual Way from 9 on one of my albums. I absolutely love his stuff.
he also has great soprano songs.
Yeah. What here? Say that again.
Maria Kesselman also always writes great sopranos.
He does. No, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. Lovely songs.
Also, like he also always has lots of baritone roles because that's another thing. I don't like that he hears little baritones these days in shows.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, actually going back to the soprano, there's not much for sopranos these days.
Well, the sopranos, baritones are all going for the, and I think just to keep casting similar type voices now, and there used to be so many different voices. Like
I agree. Makes it very samey, doesn't it?
And transposing songs to a belt or baritone.
Yes.
It's just such a shame.
I think it's a terrible shame. We can't change it, but I think it's a terrible shame. I do, you know, because I've got some pupils, you know, who I know are, you know, more like my voice. They're the more soprano lyrical type voices for musicals, and there's nowhere for them to go. You know,
Such a shame because there are so many beautiful musicals they could fit into if they.
I know it's tragic, isn't it? Tragic. I always think I was born in the wrong time, actually. Because yeah, I'd love to have done all the Rodgers and or more Rodgers and Hammerstein stuff. And
Sweeney Todd was also a beautiful show.
oh, fantastic! Oh, well, you know, genius Stephen Sondheim. Yeah,
and also that beautiful Green Finch song.
Yeah, there is that. I finally I've never performed it. I've sort of done it, but never performed it. But I love Losing My Mind, and I do In Buddy's Eyes in my show because I think it's beautiful lyric, really lovely.
That's also a beautiful show. There's a story about how time changes perspective on anything.
Yeah. What show is that? What is it?
Yeah, so, Follies.
Follies, yeah, fantastic show. Yeah, wonderful show. Yeah. There was a wonderful television concert version of that. Did you see it with Lee Remick, Barbara Cook?
Yes.
That yeah, all the stars, loads of stars. Yeah, I loved that.
I think I had everything.
Yeah, good. Is that enough? Yeah, good. Oh, it's been lovely to finally chat to you.
It was so wonderful. It was such a great conversation.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I felt like I've been talking to you, knowing you for years, just talking to you.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I like that. We could probably chat for hours, couldn't we, about all this stuff?
Yes. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. You too. We'll speak again.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Danny. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Behind the Mirror of Music with Danny Cohen.